Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Blue Maxima, and I'm just going and getting my patrons list real quick, because I forgot I need to actually thank them for this, so... yes, this is Tetris Effect. It is well, it's pretty obviously a Tetris game. But it's a Tetris game by the guy who was basically responsible for making Lumines happen, and... I disappointed myself with my knowledge of video games recently by not knowing this fact, so the moment I found out, I went and picked it up. I even went and bought it with my own money. Honestly, kind of regretting it a little, but we'll get to that shortly. So, first thing I need to do is thank my patrons. Alan, Billy, Blizz, Brett, Caleb, Chen, Christoph, David, Edia, Eric, Gary, Joey, JR, Twioch, Matthew, Miguel, Mathaldu, Raymond, Rodrigo, Sagchief, and Z. Thank you all for helping this channel exist. And if you want to be in the next video, you probably want to go and put your name in and link in the description. So, let's go have a quick look around, shall we? We actually have a fair few options, including how many pieces we want in the next queue, whether or not we want to have hold as a thing, display the ghost piece on the bottom of the well, change the colours of the Tetrominos to match the skin, or just have them be the traditional colours, be able to rotate and hold pieces before they even show up in the well, change where the camera is. We're going to actually keep that zoomed in. Oh no, we'll keep it on default so we can demonstrate. And we can adjust the camera, which is a little odd, because when the game starts, the well is actually really far away, even on the PlayStation VR stuff, so it feels a bit weird. You've got all sorts of different visibility options here, which is nice. Some audio options, the ability to make your controller vibrate with the music. You can even put on a second controller and make it vibrate differently, which is absolutely bizarre. I haven't actually tried that because I don't have a second controller sitting around actually able to work with that. And of course there's tutorials, but we're not going to do tutorials because, well, it's Tetris. I don't need bloody Tetris tutorials. So, we're going to head into Journey Mode, which is basically the game's main mode. And it's very easy to understand. You have a bunch of stages stuck end on end, and if you complete a stage, you unlock the next one. You can do them all in a row to try and get a decent score, like I have here on Turtle Dreams, or you can fail them, like I've done on Area 2 and 3, and play the stages one by one, and once you play the stages one by one, they'll unlock anyway, so it's not a massive deal. I don't know what that secondary mode is that's going to unlock at the end of Journey Mode, but, well, it'll be interesting either way. So we can actually have a look at the high scoreboard as well, but I do not probably have a ranking on this board. Oh well. So let's give a go to this, shall we? Let's play Sunset Breeze. Oh my god, it starts immediately, right. Okay, so here's the well. And this is, of course, Tetris. It is a surprisingly fast version of Tetris, mainly because I'm playing on the expert difficulty and it actually affects what speed the well's at the beginning. And the speed of the well is actually variable. It changes every 16 or so lines, which is a interesting way to go about it, I gotta say. But yeah, anyway, we are basically right into it. So yeah, if you couldn't tell, this is indeed Tetris. And holy crap, the influence from Mr. Lumines guy, I used to know his name, but I keep forgetting it because this is just me we're talking about. I forget everyone's names except my own. So that's kind of unfortunate, but nevertheless, this is definitely Tetris as inspired by Mr. Lumines man himself, because holy crap, this entire play field, everything here looks like the Lumines skins that never made it into Lumines. It is absolutely Lumines inspired in almost every sense of the word. And yes, it does look good. In my personal opinion, it doesn't look that great, but at least it looks good. Like, I'm not going to say that this is a bad looking game. I'm just going to say that it is not to my personal taste, if I'm being honest. I'm not entirely sure why, because I love most of the skins in Lumines, but I just gotta say, it's not doing it for me here this time. Alright, so we hit 16 lines, so the speed of the well has gone down, which is nice. Because they can throw those speed changes at you from bloody anywhere, and they can, well, I mean, as I said before, you don't have, like, you have an idea of when it's coming. You know exactly when it's going to be coming because it changes every 16 lines on every stage. That doesn't seem to change. What does change is the speed. It would be nice to have a warning if I'm about to go into like speed 16, because holy crap, speed 16 in this game is a nightmare. I do also believe there's speed 18, but at the same time, speed 16 and 18 aren't actually that different. I mean, like, it's noticeably different from like speeds 13 through 14. So yeah, it can just kind of come out of nowhere and surprise you. Yeah, like here's speed 12. It's not actually that bad, but it's still kind of annoying. Hang on, wrong. Still wrong. Great. Clear that out, then... Whoa. Yep, we've also got hard lock coming in after a small amount of time. You can keep the hard lock from going off by spinning your piece, but that only works for so long. The gravity in this well is actually really high for a Tetris game, so when you put your piece down, the time that it takes to lock it is actually quite short. That's what I mean by the gravity being so high. It can be surprisingly difficult to manage if you are having a little bit of trouble, like I am here, in keeping the well as far away from the ceiling as possible. It's also not helping that the screen is really far away. Come on, thank you. There we go. It's also not helping that the screen is really far away. I can fix that. The unfortunate thing is that you have to do it while you're playing, so you can't, like, you gotta have, like, 3 freaking hands if you want this to work properly. So you need to zoom it in using the left stick while moving the buttons with the D-pad. It's a bizarre control scheme, especially if you want to adjust the camera on the fly. And as I said before, unless you go and change it, like, in the beginning of the game instead of like waiting until you're actually playing, well, you kind of have to deal with the fact that you are stuck with a zoomed in camera, or you're going to accidentally put down a few bad pieces, and that's it for that. It's a shame too, because I was bloody 1 line off the next one, but if I hit continue, it'll let me continue from that stage. But of course the camera position doesn't save properly, and I have to put it back in so it's a little bit closer. Little bit of a bizarre choice, I must say. Even on the VR stuff, like, I have the PlayStation VR headset. I didn't bother actually putting it on for this video because it doesn't really make that much of a difference either way, and it would look a bit odd having the playfield shift around with my movements. But at the same time, I'm just going to say here that it's just a little bizarre, right? Like, it does all the fancy effects and stuff. You can see them around the outside of the field, and they really do look good. Like, I'm not going to say they don't look good, and they do look better in the headset, because the headset's got a really nice and clear display with a higher frame rate. I don't know if this game actually takes advantage of the higher frame rate, but then again, it's Tetris, it probably doesn't, because, you know, they kind of have to rely on certain timings, but, you know, I could be wrong. With that said, though, the effects aren't massively impressive, and it's got the same kind of problem that bloody Persona 5 Dancing in Starlight has, which I have been playing recently. It's that the backgrounds look nice, but you can't really pay much attention to them, because if you do, you will just have random blocks falling into the well, and you just can't look at them. I mean, sure, you could play on a lower difficulty just to try and relax and play through that, but you know, this is me we're talking about. I gotta play at the highest difficulty I'm capable of. Which, judging by the fact that my well is really well filled, no pun intended, and the fact that I'm really sucking right now, doesn't help, but yeah, considering the fact that I'm trying to play on the highest difficulty I can, and I'm doing pretty badly out of the boot, it kind of means that I just have no time to actually look at the pretty colors, which is disappointing, because, you know, at least with Lumines, since the Lumines well took up the entire playfield, it meant that I am really bad at this. Let's just back out before I get the game over, because, oh man, that really does suck. Did I even make it through, like, I didn't. Unbelievable. I didn't even make it through the first one. That sucks. So, alright, we'll back out and we'll play some of the other modes in... What was it, effect modes? Yeah, they call them effect modes for some reason. But yeah, because the weekly ritual has begun. Interesting. Focus ritual goal 88% with 12 hours remaining. Interesting. Alright, let's just go and play some marathon, I suppose. We can pick whatever skin we like. Let's pick one we haven't seen yet. So we'll do Da Vinci. Why not? We can, of course, also set endless mode. And I have to move the camera in. Cool. Start speed 1, so this is entirely more manageable. But yeah, as I was saying before, it's just kind of hard to pay any attention to the graphics when you're so focused on getting pieces down the well, especially if you're playing on higher difficulties. It's actually kind of strange in that regard. Especially with Lumines, when the well graphics took up the entire screen, but in this game in particular, for some reason, I'm not going to claim to know why, but for whatever reason, they've decided to do it in such a way that you start with the well so zoomed out, all the graphics are around the side, and sometimes half of the graphics don't even end up, like, even remotely close to the middle, so you have to end up not looking at the actual graphics in order to actually do well. It's bizarre. Not a choice that I would expect the guy who made Lumines to make. There is also another problem, but I don't blame the game for this specifically, because, well, it's not really the game's fault. It's the controller. The DualShock 4 is terrible for playing Tetris on. There are lots of accidental movements I've made, because the D-pad on this thing sometimes has trouble telling the difference between, the D-pad on this thing sometimes has trouble telling the difference between a left and an up, so I might accidentally drop a block in while trying to move it, or even worse, drop a block in, but also hit the right button on the D-pad at the same time. So I end up sending the block one space over just as I'm dropping it. It's really weird how often it happens too. It hasn't happened on this recording just yet, but it is guaranteed to happen to you at some point. And it is surprisingly hard to get used to. Which kind of sucks, in all honesty. I could play it on Vita Remote Play and use its D-pad, because its D-pad is absolutely glorious, but you'd have the whole network lag issue to deal with, and considering this is Tetris, where when the higher speeds start coming in, literally every piece counts, that's not something you want to have to deal with in the long run. Because one minor network hiccup could result in the entire game being lost. Which is unfortunate. As an actual game of Tetris though, just on the mechanics, because there are a lot of different ways you can do a Tetris game, and my personal favorite was Tetris the Grandmaster, mainly Tetris the Grandmaster 3, because they put so much time into thinking about how all the mechanics of Tetris could be used in a competitive sense, that the whole thing is just really interesting in general. Like, the entirety of Tetris the Grandmaster is just a manual in turning a non-competitive game into a competitive game. It's fantastic in that regard. Considering that I'm not doing just Vita anymore, I might need to take the opportunity to do an actual video on it, because I do have a copy of Tetris the Grandmaster 3 lying around. But for now, that's not what we've got. We're working with Tetris Effect. And with the ability to change, like, the rotation of the pieces before they even come into the well, that is actually a really nice feature, not to mention, you know, hold them as they come out of the well. Those are both really nice features. And the actual Tetris controls themselves are very comfortable. Like, again, there are things like, there's no infinite fall. Your block will lock in eventually, which is nice for the competitive-minded. And it's got speeds past 15. 15 is the traditional maximum speed of Tetris, but you can play at higher speeds if you want to. Like, as I said in the story mode, the speeds go up to 18, and I'm not even at the end of it. They might go even higher. So the fact that they've put so much effort into making it so that it's not just your stereotypical Tetris port is nice. Let's just quit out of this because it's going to take a while to actually get up to some decent speeds. We have some extra modes to show off. So we can show off Ultra, Sprint, and Master, which is just like best score in 3 minutes, 40 lines, or just with everything going insanely fast. You also have these. You can clear as many target blocks as you can before time runs out. Let's do that because it's only a minute, and it'll be a nice way to demonstrate the game. But of course, I have to zoom well in again because god damn it. So here's what target mode is like. You have to clear the block. And then it erases, and you have to try and clear some more blocks. God damn it. It gives you some bonus time, and then you just move on to the next one. It's really quite simple. Do it as fast as you can, with as much score as you can, and you win the day, and it's not giving me the block underneath. There we go. There's a few extra modes like this. There's an infected mode, which I'm going to show off, which is a surprising pain in the ass, just due to the fact that it has this annoying tendency to not give you the blocks you need right as you need them, so yeah. And there is also a couple, there is another mode which I can't remember off the top of my head because I'm an idiot, and I've screwed this one up royally, so chances are I am not going to be able to, oh no, never mind. Better than I thought, apparently. Right. Put this there. Really should be paying attention to the well, but, not the well, the next piece thing. I mean, you can see that I got a score of 13 here, so I'm usually better than this. But I guess I'm just distracted. Let's see if I can clear the next one in time. Nah, probably not. Let's just fill the well. Have some fun. There we go. Rank D. Yep. I'm really not that good at Tetris. Oh, apparently I unlocked an avatar. That's nice. We'll get onto that. We'll also get onto the whole leveling up thing. I'm not entirely sure what the leveling up thing does. So yeah, we got target there, and our extra modes are down the bottom here. So you got a chill marathon, a quick play, and some different playlists. You've also got your special modes down here. Use falling tetrominos to score lines and clear bonus points. Try to survive as random effects keep popping up. We'll play that for a bit. So, Pharaoh's Code, why not? So basically this is marathon mode, but random shit will drop in. So let's see how well we do. I haven't actually lasted that long, and the goddamn bloody controller bullshit there, moving at a fucking line before I could actually drop it properly. It's just dumb. Annoys the shit out of me. Don't know who Bad Chocolate is, but that's actually a pretty nice name. So here comes the random effect. There'll be a... It's occurred to me that the ghost in the well is gone. I don't know why exactly. Where's the random effects? Usually one's popped up by now. It's a random effect. I can't use my whole piece. Okay. Alright, hang on. I gotta zoom out a bit for this. Yes, you can also adjust the angle, which is not great. I don't know why you would do this, but it's a thing. You can see up the top there what the random effect is, so I don't get my whole piece for a while. Which is unfortunate, because I really would have liked to have saved that straight piece. And I don't get to see what's coming up next, but at least I get my whole piece back, which is good. There. Cool. Random fill-up. Cool. Nice. That's actually pretty good for me, because I can just clear it out like that. And just clear another one out like that, because back-to-back Tetrises are sweet. One of the trophies in the... Oh my god. Right. One of the trophies in this game is actually, like, I think it was 4 back-to-back Tetrises, which I don't think is possible in the regular modes. But it's kind of neat, at the very least. I've still got that giant piece there. And we've got the bombs. Awesome. So bombs will actually just completely clear out part of the... I really shouldn't have brought that out. They'll actually just, like, clear out part of the stage. Which is a kind of a bizarre effect. So see now that all those pieces are gone, I'm going to have a much tougher time trying to make lines. And here come the shattered pieces, which are actually surprisingly useful for helping you out of a situation like this one. Except they're not doing me so well right now. Damn it. Okay, you go in there, then I spin you like that. Cool. So yeah, it can kind of get nuts. And there's another fucking bomb. Because of course there is, right? There, drop that there. Rotate that over the well, get that in there. I'm pretty sure we're done here. Yep, there we go. Not my best score, but with a mode like that, it can be really hard to get a good score. So there is a bunch of other stuff you can do outside of just these modes. I mean, it's not much, but you can, we can see rankings for everything. So marathon, yep, there's all the different modes you can have a look at. It was very quick across the top of the screen there. I didn't actually load any of the boards. You have the ability to change your avatar. And you get a few different avatars. As you can see, I've only collected a few. And you can actually see them floating around in orbit. So we can actually go and have a look around the world. And you can see people just floating over in general where the locations are. Because my PlayStation Network account is actually a North American account, I actually had to pick an area within the United States, which is a little bit bizarre. And yeah, you can just go and have a look around the world and see people's locations and all that. What's up with that hole? What's that doing there? I'm not entirely sure. Alright, we'll play one more of the special modes. We'll do Purify, why not? And you can also change the difficulty, which is cool. Gonna leave it on normal, just for the purpose of relaxation. So yeah, here's what this looks like. Basically, you just gotta try and clear as many lines as you can with the infected blocks there. The unfortunate thing about this mode is that it's actually kind of hard because the random piece generator that determines what you get is a real dick in this mode, so it can be really hard to work your way down because of that. It's actually kind of frustrating. I don't know if it's me just sucking or not, but it's actually kind of a frustrating mode and I don't really want to play it that much. I'm just playing it for demonstration, so yeah. So yeah, this has been a quick look at Tetris Effect. It's not a bad version of Tetris. The gameplay is on point. It's got a few nice tweaks that I like, and it feels a little bit closer to, say, games like Tetris the Grandmaster than does, say, Tetris Ultimate. The other included modes are neat, but I'm not particularly... I'm not a massive fan of most of them. Some of them are okay. Like, the random mode is neat for a laugh, and you've got all the usual modes there if you need them for relaxation or score attacking or whatever. And that's all good. Like, there's nothing wrong with any of them. The graphics look good. Like, it's a game by the guy who made Lumines, so it's gonna look good one way or another. Personally, it isn't sitting 100% with me for a reason I can't really determine. I don't think it's the game's fault. Maybe it's just me not liking this sort of thing. Although I loved Lumines, so God only knows why that would be a thing. But Yeah, the game itself still looks pretty good. I guess my main problem with the game would be the price. Now, this is 40 bucks. And 40 bucks is a bit much, honestly. I mean, it's a good game of Tetris, and if you had the VR headset to, like, you know, actually make these graphics look as good as possible, because this game was, like, designed and announced for PlayStation VR, but you can play it flat, which is what I'm doing right now. It definitely just feels like, though, if you really want to get the maximum value out of it, you need a PlayStation VR, because if you don't have that, then you just get a flat Tetris with some bright and interesting graphics, but otherwise uninteresting. And, well, that just kind of sucks, if I'm being perfectly honest, because it would be nice to have a proper Luminous game running in VR. That would be sweet. But yeah, this game just isn't 100% amazing. Like, it's okay. It does what it does well enough. I just find myself being a little bit disappointed by it for some reason. But yeah, that's a neat mode. Nothing particularly wrong with it except the bloody random things just get in the way. If you want a really nice looking version of Tetris, I didn't mean to hit retry there, I meant to hit quit. If you want a really nice looking version of Tetris, with a few extra modes on the side, this is worth a try, but at the same time, it's a little bit odd that it costs 40 bucks. It feels like a little bit much for that, especially if you don't have a PlayStation VR to really take advantage of the fancy graphics. If it goes down to 20 bucks or less, though, it is worth a pickup. Nothing wrong with picking it up for that sort of price, but 40 is just a bit too much. I still like it, though. So yeah, this has been Blue Maxima, and I will see you all next time.